lucky to meet Billy and his mates, Joe and Sam.
They are football crazy, especially for West Ham. Joe and Sam play up front for the Rush Green Rovers.
They score, they tackle and play really hard. They don't stop until it's over. But Billy, he is different. He doesn't always play for the team, he doesn't pass, he doesn't challenge, and he always runs out of steam.
Billy's coach would say to him, "You need to play a bit harder, practice more, play for the team. We know you are smarter." Billy shrugged his shoulders and said, "Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't need to do any practice. I know that I am better."
A few cold days before Christmas, Billy was walking through the park. He'd just finished football training and it was starting to get dark.
Billy carried on walking, rushing home to eat his tea, but suddenly stopped in his tracks when he saw a light behind a tree.
He looked around and saw no one. Now the park was really dark. He walked closer and closer to the light, which was now a big bright spark. Bang! Out goes the light, and Billy looks down on the ground. Whoa! There it was, a football, colored claret, blue and brown. Billy said, "Lucky me, this looks like a West Ham ball." He picked it up, hurried home, as the snow began to fall. It was getting colder, and Billy was trying to stay warm. The snow was heavy, the wind was blowing. It felt like a big storm.
Billy needed shelter, and he found a corner store. He ran inside, and the shopkeeper said, "How can I help? I'm Mr. Moore." Mr. Moore was somebody that Billy didn't recognize, although there was something about his face and a hint of magic in his eyes. Billy said to Mr. Moore, "I'm just coming in from the cold." Mr. Moore nodded and noticed the football that was shining bright and bold. "I know where you got that ball from," said Mr. Moore to Billy. "I found one when I was young, on a night like this, so chilly." Billy looked at the shopkeeper and thought, I better listen. Mr. Moore spoke about the old days, and his eyes began to glisten. Mr. Moore said that he was the finest footballer in town. Strong, smart, super fit, and never let anyone down. If you want to be the best, young Billy, you just have to believe, never give up, always listen, and then you can live the dream. Billy took Mr. Moore's advice and said, "Thank you, sir. I better leave. My mum will be worried and wondering why I'm not home for my tea." Mr. Moore nodded, his eyes still shining bright. He said, "Goodbye, Billy," as he walked into the cold night. The snow was still falling, but Billy was rushing home. He couldn't see where he was going when he fell into the road. To a halt, the car stopped in front of Billy. The driver jumped out and started to shout, "Little man!" That was silly.
You really should look where you're going. Think, take your time, be smart. Look, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to shout. Let me help you. I'm Mark. Billy recognised the voice that was coming from this man. Wait, no way. It was Mark Noble, captain of West Ham.
Mark told Billy, "I loved playing football when I was a lad. Kicking about the park were the best time I ever had.
I used to say to my teammates, play for the team or we'll lose. But some play for themselves and soon they were no use." Then the coach started dropping players from the team. Now their hopes to play for West Ham are a distant dream. Just before Mark turned to walk back to his car, he said, "Little man, get home soon. I hope it's not too far." Billy couldn't believe what was happening at all. He started to think it was all down to this ball.
Billy was nearly home now, and the ball was still shining bright. He was running through the snow and past all the Christmas lights.
He couldn't stop thinking about Mr. Moore and Mark Noble in his car. He was determined to do better and be the best footballer by far.
He finally arrived home and pushed open the front door. He could smell his tea and dropped the bright ball on the floor. Mom had made his favorite food, chicken pie and smash. Lots of gravy, yummy peas, he gobbled in a flash. He headed up to bed and put the bright ball by his side. Jumped under the covers, made a wish, then he closed his eyes. Christmas Eve is here. Billy hooped and skipped out of bed. Jack and Sam will be knocking soon. They were going on play on their sleds. Ding dong, the doorbell rings. Billy rushes to the front door. There's two Jack and Sam and someone he'd not seen before. He said, "Hi, my name is Nathan. I'm the new boy on the team. I moved to London from the north. Can I hang out with you guys, please?" Billy shrugged his shoulders and said, "Yeah, okay, whatever." The snow was thick, the sun was bright. He couldn't ask for better Christmas weather. But before he left the house, Billy remembered the magic ball. He ran upstairs to see it glowing bright next his bedroom wall.
"What's that?" asked a very curious Nathan, Sam, and Jack. Billy said, "I found it yesterday in the park when I was walking back." Nathan said to Billy, "That's cool. Can I hold it, please?" Billy handed over, all thought he wasn't very keen. Then, as if by magic, the ball began to fly up and up and up and up like a bright balloon in the sky. "Follow the ball," shouted Billy, and they all began to run through the snow past the shop in the bright winter sun. Billy quickly started to get tired and really wanted to stop. Nathan shouted, "Keep going, Billy." Then the ball began to drop. Jack and Sam were long gone and nowhere to be found. But Nathan had still with Billy, who was now panting on the ground. They arrived at the park and found the ball behind the tree. Billy said to Nathan, "Why didn't you just run and leave me?" Nathan walked towards the ball and said, "Billy, that's not my style. I will always make sure my teammates are okay. I got the extra mile." The ball had stopped shining now, and the park was covered in snow. And Billy thought about the people he'd met when the ball would really glow.
Mr. Moore, the shopkeeper, and Western captain Mark, and now this new kid Nathan, who was stood here in the park. This ball have to be magic. It flew high up in the sky. Nobody had ever seen a ball like this, especially one that could fly. Nathan passed the ball to Billy and said, "I am going to go home, but think about what I say. Never leave your teammates alone." Billy decided to leave the ball where he found it right behind the tree. "I think someday another kid will need it, another kid like me. I want to be strong like Mr. Moore, and smart like Mark Noble in this car."
Play for the team like Nathan does. I want to be a star. But before I start my plan on how to be a winner, I have to think about all of